This podcast is powered by Growth Suite. Growth Suite helps you to run smart discount campaigns on your store. Test it for free on your Shopify store. Just land on the Shopify App Store now and test it for free. Ever wonder why some products just, take off, they become part of the conversation, while others, even really good ones, just sort of fade?
Yeah, it's fascinating, isn't it? Like, why the huge buzz around a new phone, but crickets for I don't know, a new microwave.
Exactly. And how do some brands get all this organic chat happening on social media? It seems like magic sometimes, but it's not just advertising, right?
Not at all. And that's really what we're digging into today. We've been looking at this whole idea of social currency. It's this kind of unseen force in e-commerce.
Right, social currency. So it's not just about having a functional product, it's about making it worth talking about.
Precisely. It's like word of mouth, but supercharged for the digital age. Much more complex, much more powerful than it used to be.
Okay, so think of this as your shortcut. We're diving deep into the sources to figure out what makes certain things capture our attention and get shared.
Our mission today is really to unpack social currency, figure out how you can actually build it into your e-commerce products so people want to share them. We'll cover what it is, why it works, the psychology.
What those 6 dimensions you mentioned.
Yeah, exactly. The 6 dimensions, plus practical strategies, how to measure it, and some, real-world examples of who's nailing it.
And this really matters for you listening, doesn't it? If you're launching something new or maybe trying to refresh an existing product line.
Or just trying to get people genuinely talking about your brand without, you know, breaking the bank on ads that feel less effective these days.
Understanding social currency feels, well, essential. It's about making products that kind of market themselves. Okay, let's get into it. What exactly is social currency? Define it for us.
Okay, so at its core, social currency is the value, the sort of social status people get from sharing information about brands or products.
Value, like street cred.
Kind of, yeah. It's the feeling of being in the know, being cool, being helpful.
Yeah.
And then sharing that makes you look good. It enhances your image, your connections.
Ah, okay. So it's less about the widget itself and more about what sharing that widget says about me.
Exactly. People have always chatted about purchases, but online, it's different. Faster, wider reach. Jonah Berger identified 6 key dimensions that really drive this today: conversation, information, utility, affiliation, advocacy, and identity.
6 dimensions. That sounds like a solid framework. But does it, actually work? Is there proof this stuff moves the needle?
Oh, absolutely. The number is pretty compelling. Products with high social currency, they get something like 2 to 3 times more word of mouth.
Wow, 2 to 3 times.
Yeah. And think about this. 92% of people trust recommendations from friends or family way more than ads.
Mm-hmm.
So more social currency equals more trusted recommendations equals, well, more business.
92%. That's
Yeah.
huge. Okay, so what's going on inside our heads? Why do we feel compelled to share? What's the psychology?
Well, there are a few key drivers. First, social identity enhancement. We share things that make us look good, that reflect the image we want to project, like sharing about your new eco-friendly car versus, I don't know, your new vacuum cleaner.
Right. One says, I care about the planet. The other says, I have floors.
Exactly. Then there's status elevation, sharing useful tips, cool finds, exclusive info. It makes us seem knowledgeable, like an insider.
Okay, so looking smart or cool.
Yeah. And emotional connection is massive too. Content that makes us feel something strong, happy, amazed, amused, even angry sometimes, that gets shared way more often.
Makes sense. We connect over feelings.
And finally, there's actually a neural reward. Our brains literally give us a little dopamine hit, a little pleasure buzz. When we share information that others find valuable or interesting, sharing feels good.
Okay, so it reinforces our identity, boosts our status, connects us emotionally, and even feels good physiologically.
Got it.
So why is this mission critical for businesses, especially online?
Well, think about those stats again. Word of mouth, driven by the social currency, influences between 50 and 90% of all purchase decisions.
50 to 90%. That's basically everything.
Pretty much. And customers who come to you via word of mouth, they stick around longer. We're talking a 37% higher retention rate.
Better customers who stay longer.
Right. Plus, organic sharing is often seen as 10 times more effective than paid ads. And building this stuff in can actually reduce your marketing spend, maybe by 20–50%.
Lower costs, more effective marketing.
And it builds a long-term advantage. It's like built-in marketing that keeps working and compounding over time while your competitors are maybe still just throwing money at ads.
Okay, I'm sold on the why. Let's break down those 6 dimensions. The first one you mentioned was conversation. How do we get people talking?
Right, conversation. This is about making your product inherently interesting enough to bring up. People love telling little stories or sharing interesting tidbits.
So how do we bake that in?
You can build in remarkable features, things that are genuinely surprising or different. Think Apple ditching the headphone jack, love it or hate it, people talked about it a lot.
Okay, be bold.
Or design-specific conversation triggers,
Yeah.
like Coca-Cola's Share a Coke, names on bottles. People were actively looking for names, sharing photos. It was designed to spark conversation.
Clever.
Developing signature elements helps too. Things instantly recognizable, like the red soles on Louboutin shoes. It becomes a visual talking point.
That red sole is iconic.
Definitely. And finally, just facilitating platforms for discussion forums, groups, ways for people to naturally connect and chat about the product. The goal isn't just noise. It's positive talk that reinforces the brand.
So engineer something notable, give
Mhm.
them a reason or a way to talk. How do we know if it's working? How do you measure talkability?
You track it. Use social listening tools to see the volume of mentions, where they're happening, and crucially, the sentiment. Are people saying good things? What specific features are they buzzing about?
Got it. Volume and sentiment. Okay, dimension 2. Information. Making customers feel like insiders. How does that work?
Information taps into that desire we all have to feel special, to have knowledge others don't. It makes us feel important, and we want to share that feeling, that info.
Like having a secret handshake.
Sort of. Strategies include creating insider knowledge, maybe exclusive content, behind-the-scenes looks, early access to news.
Okay, make them feel privy to something.
You could also use tiered access, reward loyal customers or engage users with deeper levels of information, or design discovery elements within the product, hidden features, Easter eggs, things people feel clever finding and want to share.
Little surprises.
Yeah. But the key is balancing exclusivity with accessibility. The info needs to feel special, but not so obscure that nobody else cares or understands when you share it. Like how Elon Musk tweets Tesla updates.
Yeah.
Owners feel they have direct info to share.
Right. Special but relatable. Okay, number 3, utility. Creating practical value worth sharing. This feels more straightforward, make useful stuff.
It is, but there's nuance. Utility is about providing real, tangible help that people genuinely appreciate and want to pass on. We like being seen as helpful.
So how do we boost that?
Focus on solving problems in unique or exceptionally effective ways. Create unexpected functionality that delights people. Oh, I didn't know it could do that. Design shareable solutions, things that work better when used together.
Like collaboration tools.
Exactly. But again, balance novelty with real usefulness. A gimmick might get shared once, but true utility gets shared repeatedly. Dropbox is a classic case. File sharing is useful, right? And the referral program amplified that. Utility share, the useful tool, get more useful storage. Win-win.
The Dropbox example is perfect. Utility plus incentive. Okay, 4th dimension, affiliation.
Yeah.
Building community. This feels really key for loyalty.
Totally. Affiliation is about our deep need to belong, creating a sense of community, a shared identity around your brand.
So how do we foster that tribe feeling?
Start by creating clear brand tribes. Who are your people? Make it easy for them to identify themselves and each other. Develop membership elements, badges, exclusive forums, early access things that signal you're part of the club.
Make belonging visible.
Design shared experiences, group challenges, user meetups, even virtual ones, collaborative projects, things that connect users to each other, and leverage tribal psychology, shared language, inside jokes, rituals. People want to belong to something.
Like Peloton.
Peloton is a textbook example. It's way more than a bike. It's the classes, the leaderboards, the hashtags. People proudly signal they're part of that community, that tribe.
Right, you see the hashtags everywhere. Okay, number 5, advocacy. Turning happy customers into actual champion. How do we get that level of passion?
Advocacy goes beyond just satisfaction. It's about creating experiences so positive, so memorable, that customers can't help but tell everyone.
Creating superfans.
Exactly. You need to consistently exceed expectations. Go above and beyond in meaningful ways. Create emotional connections, often through shared values or a strong brand purpose.
Connect on a deeper level.
Design peak moments, those standout interactions or experiences within the customer journey that people will remember and talk about. And maybe develop graduated advocacy paths, nurture people along, from satisfied customer to loyal fan to active promoter, maybe through loyalty tiers or special roles.
Like Zappos and their customer service stories.
Precisely. Those legendary stories aren't accidents. They're the result of empowering employees to create those peak moments, turning customers into lifelong evangelists who share those stories. That's pure advocacy gold.
Okay, and the final dimension, number 6, identity. Making the product part of who someone is. That sounds powerful, but maybe tricky.
It is powerful. Identity is about letting customers express themselves, who they are or who they want to be through your product.
So how does a product do that?
You can create strong identity markers, distinctive designs, logos, colors that become symbols associated with a certain lifestyle or value set. Allow personalization so users can make the product uniquely theirs.
Make it their own.
Align your brand with aspirational identities. What your customers admire or aspire to. Connect your product to that. And crucially, maintain cultural relevance. Stay connected to evolving trends, values, and identities.
Like Thomas shoes.
Thomas is a great example. The distinct shoe style became an identity marker, and the one-for-one giving model directly tied wearing the shoes to expressing a value being socially conscious. It wasn't just footwear, it was a statement.
Wow, okay. Conversation, information, utility, affiliation, advocacy, identity. That's a really solid framework for thinking about shareability. So it's not luck, it's design. How do we actually bake this into product development from day one?
That's the key shift, right? Thinking about social currency not as a marketing add-on, but as a core part of product design. You constantly need to ask, would someone actually want to tell a friend about this feature, about this experience?
So proactively designing for talkability.
Exactly. Incorporate remarkable elements, like Dyson showing you the dirt, it's visually striking, different, worth a comment. Enhance the visibility of usage. Spotify Wrapped is genius here. It takes private listening data and makes it incredibly public and shareable.
Yeah, everyone shares their Wrap.
Designed for those Instagram moments. Think about how the product looks, how it's unboxed, how it's used in a way that's visually appealing and shareable. And use emotional design, create moments of joy, surprise, or delight that people naturally want to capture and share.
Okay, so think shareable by design. What about things like limited runs or member-only stuff? How do they play in?
Exclusivity and scarcity are powerful levers. They create urgency and make possessing or accessing something feel special, which increases the desire to talk about it.
Like sneaker drops.
Exactly like sneaker drops.
Yeah.
Develop limited editions, create member-only features or early access. Use strategic release timing to build hype. The trick is balancing that exclusivity so it feels special, but still accessible enough to generate widespread buzz, not just alienate people.
Right, FOMO without total lockout. What about making the experience itself more engaging, more shareable?
Yeah, gamification and interactive elements are great for this. Integrate challenges people want to share, completing like fitness goals on Strava.
Or language streaks on Duolingo.
Perfect example. Develop achievement frameworks with badges or levels people display. Create competitive elements, leaderboards. Design clear progress mechanics. Make the journey of using the product something people want to share updates about.
Make the usage itself a story.
And speaking of stories, storytelling and narrative integration are huge. Weave narratives around your product. Craft a compelling origin story. Integrate user journeys into a larger brand narrative. Design those hero moments where the customer feels like the star of a shareable story.
Like Yeti and their adventure stories.
Exactly. Yeti doesn't just sell coolers, they sell the story of adventure. And the cooler is a key part of that story customers want to adopt and share.
Okay, so the product itself needs to be shareable, but then how we talk about it also matters, right? What content and communication strategies boost this?
Absolutely. The product is the foundation, but communication amplifies it. You need to create content worth sharing. Focus on emotionally resonant stuff, funny, inspiring, surprising.
Make them feel something.
Design it for multi-platform sharing, make it look good and work well on Instagram, TikTok, wherever your audience is. Build in viral triggers, those little nudges or reminders, like Starbucks does with seasonal drinks, prompting conversation. And balance information with entertainment.
Like Blendtec blending iPhones.
Classic, hilarious, memorable, and it showcased the blender's power. Perfect balance.
Okay, and what about getting customers to create the content? UGC feels like the holy grail here.
It really is. Facilitating user-generated content is incredibly powerful. You can build features into the product that encourage think customizable phone cases people want to show off.
Make it easy, make it desirable.
Create branded frameworks like hashtag challenges. Maybe incentivize high-quality UGC with contests or features. And definitely showcase the UGC you get. Feature customer photos and videos prominently.
Like GoPro.
GoPro basically built their brand on showcasing amazing customer footage. It's authentic, it's inspiring, and it sells cameras way better than a traditional ad could. Your customers become your best marketers.
Makes total sense. What's the role of influencers in this? Is it just about paying big names?
Not necessarily. Leveraging influencer partnerships needs to be strategic. Often, micro-influencers with smaller, highly engaged niche audiences can be more effective and authentic.
Quality over quantity.
Yeah, focus on authentic partnerships where the influencer genuinely likes and uses the product. Maybe co-create special versions with them and measure impact beyond likes. Look at engagement, conversation, actual influence. Authenticity is key. People spot a fake endorsement a mile off.
Authenticity rules. And finally, building that tribe, that community.
Absolutely critical. Build community around your product. Create dedicated spaces, forums, Discord servers, Facebook groups. Facilitate user-to-user connections. Maybe even give the community some governance or input, like Lego Ideas does.
Lego Ideas is brilliant.
It really is. Yeah. Leverage community insights for product development and makes them feel invested, part of something. It's not just a transaction anymore. It's a relationship.
Okay, so product, content, community, it all ties together.
Yeah.
But how do we know if all this effort is actually, paying off? How do we measure social currency effectively?
Measurement is crucial, you're right. You need the right KPIs. Look beyond vanity metrics. Track conversation volume and sentiment. What's the share-to-view ratio on your content? How far is influence spreading through networks? How much UGC are you generating?
So deeper metrics than just likes.
Definitely. And you can use advanced analytics, social network analysis to see how info flows, predictive modeling for new features, A/B testing different social tactics, even machine learning to find hidden patterns in what drives sharing for your audience.
Getting sophisticated. And how do we tie this back to the bottom line? Calculate the ROI.
Good question. You need to connect it to business results. Look at conversion attribution from social shares. Compare the customer lifetime value, CLV, of socially acquired customers versus others. Remember that stat? They often have 20–40% higher CLV.
That's a big difference.
Huge. Do a cost-benefit analysis comparing social currency efforts to traditional ad spend and track the impact on brand equity awareness, preference over time. It proves the long-term value.
Okay, concrete ways to measure impact. Let's talk examples. Seeing it in action always helps. Who's done this really well?
Okay, let's look at a few. In fashion and lifestyle, Daniel Wellington watches. They exploded using micro-influencers, focusing on that affiliation and identity-relatable people, showing an aspirational lifestyle.
Ah, yes, those watch photos were everywhere.
Marc Jacobs did that daisy chain campaign post with the hashtag potentially get product, direct social currency exchange. And Glossier basically built their brand with their community, co-creating products. Key takeaway: make customers feel like participants, not just buyers.
Empower the customer. What about tech?
Technology. Spotify Wrapped is the obvious superstar, turning data into shareable identity markers. Genius. Google's ecosystem encourages advocacy naturally. You use Gmail, Docs, Drive. You pull your friends and colleagues in.
Yeah, it's sticky.
And remember Clubhouse. That initial invite-only exclusivity, pure FOMO, driving massive conversation and desire for access that's information and affiliation working overtime. Shows digital products can create real social currency.
Fascinating. Food and beverage. Seems tougher, maybe.
Not necessarily. Food and beverage has classics. Starbucks pumpkin spice latte and other seasonal drinks are annual conversation events. Conversation triggered by scarcity.
The PSL phenomenon.
A Coca-Cola's Share a Coke. Pure personalization driving identity and conversation.
Yeah.
People hunted for names. Even Corona's lime ritual. It's a simple visual cue, a utility or identity marker that became globally recognized and shared. Everyday items can do it.
The lime, right. Okay, service businesses. Less tangible product. Still doable. Service-based businesses can create shareable moments. Uber letting you share your ETA map, practical utility, that's shareable. Chewy's amazing customer service stories, sending flowers when a pet passes, that creates intense emotional advocacy.
Oh, wow. Yeah, those stories go viral.
And MasterCard's priceless experiences, turning transactions into access to unique, shareable events. It creates tangible memories and stories from an intangible service. Key is finding ways to make the invisible visible and shareable.
These examples really show the breadth of possibilities. Okay, let's wrap this up. The big takeaway seems to be, well, just having a good product isn't the whole story anymore.
Not even close. In today's world, your product needs to be worth talking about. Social currency, using those 6 dimensions. Conversation, information, utility, affiliation, advocacy, identity gives you a roadmap to make that happen.
And it has to feel authentic, right?
Yeah.
Not just manufactured buzz. Absolutely. Authentic value is key. This isn't about tricking people. It's about genuinely designing products and experiences that people want to connect with and share. It should be baked into your thinking from the start.
So for everyone listening, maybe the question to ask is, which of those 6 dimensions are we leaning into now? And where's our biggest untapped opportunity to make our stuff more shareable?
That's the perfect question to ponder. Where can you inject more social currency into your own e-commerce world?
Definitely something to think about. This podcast was powered by Growth Suite. Growth Suite helps you to run smart discount campaigns on your store. Test it for free on your Shopify store. Just land on the Shopify App Store now and test it for free.